with yet another deck profile, and we're with Sean, and he's going to show us the deck that he took to a OTS tournament? Regionals, sorry. It kind of fits in with what's happening at the moment. Sean, what were you playing?
I was on Ishizu tier with some budget options due to card constraints at the time.
Yeah, they are very sought after, but yeah, let's get into it.
So yeah, I'll just run through the deck list pretty quick. So for the tiers, I played 3 of every name. A lot of people play 2 Rhinoheart rather than 3. But I actually really like to see it off the mills because when you open a tier, it just represents like a huge amount of advantage.
Yeah.
And Kaleido is probably the best like form of board clearing you have, especially in the mirror, because anything you send to grave will trigger.
Yeah.
So you would really like to get them back to deck. It's also just like the only real normal summon in the deck.
Yeah, I've heard that. Yeah.
So just
valuable
for that.
Max out and all.
I also just wanted to hit as many names as possible on my mills. So
yeah, and I'm sure there's ways that happen.
Yeah, there is. So then for the tier traps, I played 1 each of Suliak and Crime.
Yeah.
Crime is incredible going first. I usually started out going second. Suliak is great for both. It's also a really great thing to hit off mills. Crime's mill effect actually came up quite a bit from getting hit by Bestials. So when it's milled, you get to target a banished tier monster and add it back to hand, which would often represent a Havnus or a Shiren that I could get back.
And do they both have graveyard effects, or just mill effects?
Just when they're sent to grave by card effect. So, and then Suliak is add a tier monster. Yeah. So that's pretty crazy.
Really good, obviously.
Then the sort of tier spells. 1 instant fusion.
Yep.
If you draw it, you win.
Yep. I've heard a lot of people say that. That's what everyone says in their tier deck profiles.
Yep. 2 Perlerino.
For reasons.
I couldn't get a 3rd in time.
Yeah.
Terraforming was the 3rd.
That's it.
I'd have rather had the 3rd copy, but I saw it enough, and the deck just has so much gas anyway.
Yeah.
You also get to control what's in your deck pretty often from milling your shufflers and then putting back cards that you want to see.
Yeah, I think you get to control everybody's deck.
Pretty much, yeah. And then 1 Heartbeat.
Yeah.
It's a pretty good mill, and it's also a searchable back row out, which is really good for breaking through floodgates. And also in the mirror, putting back their Suliak or their Perlerino, or baiting their Crime if they're playing it, is really, really good.
Yeah. Because I'm sure there was lots of mirror matches.
There was. I actually didn't see the mirror all too much, but I played at least 2.
Yeah.
Then Scream.
Yeah.
A lot of people play this at more than 1.
I was going to say,
but I don't actually like the on-field effect.
Fair.
So it's just it's a nice card to mill. Lets you search a tier trap, but I don't think it's all too necessary, and I don't want to see multiples like ever.
Yeah.
So 1 was fine. Then for the Ishizus, 3 of each name. A lot of people are cutting a Guido. I usually sided it out against any graveyard deck and kept 1 copy. But there are specific things. Firstly, I wanted to be able to resolve the Shuffler's Hand effects.
Yeah.
So you need a 2nd Earth Fairy for that. And secondly, I wanted to be able to just put the foot on the pedal in terms of being proactive with activating my cards.
Yeah, that's fair.
And since a lot of other lists aren't playing that, you also get to like decide whether you want to activate it. Like it's not a mandatory effect. So often when you're milling it, you can just go like, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah,
I also did use it to deck someone out, which was pretty funny, because that can mill 10 cards from your opponent's deck,
a real possibility.
and then that can mill another 5. So by turn 3, you can like deck people out, which is pretty funny. Then an engine a lot of people don't play, but I think is really good, especially if you're on a budget.
You're adamant with this. That it's
I'm the biggest shooter for the Gravekeeper's Trap and 1 Exchange with Spirit.
Yeah.
This is a brick. This is not.
Yeah.
But essentially, Mudora. When you draw it, you get to discard another Earth Fairy to special it, and then place this face up.
Face up, like that's ridiculous.
Yes. Yeah. So what this is during the main phase, and because it's trapped to either player's turn, you can discard a card, add a Gravekeeper's or Earth Fairy monster. So any of the Ishizus from deck to hand. During your opponent's draw phase, you get to declare a card name and look at their the card they drew.
Yeah.
And then if it's that card, it goes straight to grave. But if not, you still have the knowledge of what they're playing.
Even just looking is amazing. Like.
And the most important part is if you get this into grave, and you never really activate this.
Yeah.
But you mill it pretty often, and if you draw it, you just discard it. But yeah, if this is in grave, this is basically Necro Valley.
Awesome.
So yeah, your opponent cannot activate effective cards in grave or special cards from the grave.
But you can.
Yes, it's one-sided.
Yeah.
And the other thing is this, once it's in grave, is essentially a game winner, because not only does it give you the Kelbeck effect to set back a trap to your field when you mill, and the Agido effect to mill 5 from either player's deck after, but your shufflers are now more powerful than your opponents in the mirror, because while Exchange of the Spirit is engraved, you get to put back up to 5, while normally you only get to put back up to 3. So the moment you hit this, you have a crazy advantage in pretty much every matchup, which in my eyes makes it very much worth playing, especially because if you draw this, you just place the Gravekeeper's trap face up and then discard it for that.
Insane.
It's really, really strong. And because it's not seeing a lot of play, it was really unexpected going into a lot of matchups.
Yeah, the control in the graveyard is just, it's what 2022 Yu-Gi-Oh! Is.
Not only that, but being able to guarantee access to any of these Shizus, because Kelbeck is a hand trap. It says when your opponent sends a card from hand or deck to grave, you can use it to bounce a special summon monster they control.
Yeah.
And obviously all the shufflers are just good to have in rotation. It just means that you really have like much quicker and much more reliable access to your engine than your opponent does.
Fair.
Then the one Herald of the Orange Light, rip the other 2 copies. We're still going to play the one.
Of course.
It's just a really good hand trap.
Yeah, no, it's excellent.
It relies on drawing the other Ishizu cards, but because we're playing 3 of every name, that's pretty standard.
Is it searchable?
No. That one's a
That
lie.
would have been
You
broken.
just if you see it, you see it. If you don't, like, who cares?
Yes. Who cares?
It's also revivable off a card in the extra,
Right,
which
okay.
doesn't really come up, but it just gives you extra link fodder. You know.
Fair.
Then my board breakers, I just played 3 Super Poly.
Yeah.
I think it's just the best one overall.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
You have room to play it. A lot of the cards you use as targets, you're playing anyway.
Yeah.
And in the mirror, it's just a huge game.
Oh,
winner.
I'd say it's insane.
The most
much.
important part is, unlike stuff like Droplet, which is seeing a lot of play, specifically in this deck, this cannot be negated by Crime, because your opponent just cannot respond at all.
Yeah, exactly.
It also... there was a match in the tournament where I drew Super Poly and Exchange of the Spirit going second.
Oh, okay.
Twice. So I just discarded it for the Super Poly, and then it was in rotation. Then we played the one of Foolish Burial.
Yeah.
It does everything in this deck. The one of Called By.
Yeah.
We're always going to play it.
Yeah, please never ban it.
And to counter the Bestials and the Shufflers and other such cards, especially other tiers, I played 3 Ghost Bell, which I felt was the best hand trap.
Yeah, no.
Because the aim with this, it's good going second to stop your opponent's plays, especially in the mirror. But going first, this insulates your plays to a degree where you can set up a board that will win you the game.
Yeah,
and that was the logic behind it.
Yeah, no,
it's the same reason that I played Super Poly over any other board breaker, is because you just set it and it still represents the same interaction.
It's probably the best one of the sisters, like, in this format.
I would agree.
Yeah.
So then that rounds out the main. 43 cards, because you're milling half your deck. You don't really need to worry about the 1 or 2 extra.
I think anything under 45 is respectable.
I mean, there were people playing 60 card variants and they worked completely fine.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
I didn't think it was an issue at all. So onto the extra.
Yeah.
Also took some liberties with this.
Cool.
So I played IP Masquerena.
Right.
Just a generically good thing to get things off the field.
IP is awesome.
1 Sprite Elf.
Yeah.
Very good, actually. That's the card that brings back Harold. It did, actually. Mostly you make this when you have Stray Tears on field with your Merly, because Merly is a 2.
It is.
And then you revive the Merly on your opponent's turn, which mills 3. And then if you have this up as well, which happens pretty often, you then just get to make a bigger link, and then your Merly is sent to grave by card effect.
Merly is mill when special summon, isn't it?
It mills 3, and then obviously, like the others, it has the fusion effect when it's sent to grave by card effect, which includes off field. So you use the IP to link it off, and then you can resolve your Merly. Derek, absolutely cracked all day. MVP. I considered cutting it beforehand to fit another rank 4. Glad I didn't. I used this all day to steal Druis Worms and Magnamuts.
Oh, right, fair. Cool.
Which is just big bodies. Actually, the closest game I had all tournament was a draw versus one of our teammates.
Oh, right.
And I used this to steal his Mirror Jade to put in defense position so he couldn't beat over and kill me.
Who was the teammate?
Jack. He was on Branded, and I won that game on 50 life because this is 1850.
Yeah, I'm sure
Would you believe?
I'm sure he deserved it.
Then 1 Topologic Bomber Dragon.
Yeah.
Because of the amount you're able to summon on your opponent's turn, and because of how recursive your cards are when they hit the grave, this is just a really great form of interaction for you.
Yeah.
It's also 3k.
Yeah.
So pretty big. And then Underworld Goddess, it's just the one size fits all out to things.
It's in every deck.
It's really, really good.
It's affordable now.
Yeah, that's the big thing.
Yeah.
So that rounds out the links. I would have liked to play a couple of other things like Access or Apo, but you really don't have room.
With Super Poly, you need one or two things.
So, Abyss Dweller.
Yeah.
Wins the mirror. You get to keep putting it back.
Yeah.
Just insane card.
If you can play
also, if you make it Rhino Heart, it's 2/2. Which is funny.
Yeah, like if you can make this card this format, you have to include it.
Then we played
What's
Baguska.
Oh.
I don't have it on me right now. The card that this is what I was originally playing, Time Thief Reader.
Okay.
I cut it 5 seconds before the tournament started.
Was that a good call?
Neither came up. Originally, I was playing Reader because it's a great way if you get interrupted. Yeah, that's the card. It's a great way to keep playing if you get interrupted on your turn by just sending a Tear to Grave on your opponent's turn.
Yeah.
But Baguska was just because I feared the Flu matchup. I didn't play against Flu, but this also didn't come up. There was not a point where I missed it, so I'd recommend playing Baguska.
Sure.
Then Zeus, big board wipe off one of these. It's just worth playing.
Yeah.
Then for the fusions,
Yeah.
a lot of people cut this to 1, but I was worried about it getting, Bestial Banished or Crowed or something. So I played 2 Kit Callus.
Yeah.
Didn't regret it at all.
No, yeah.
Great card, it just gets your engine going. And it's a necessary card for Roll Close, which is a really great form of interaction. Also, quite relevant all day, was making an Abyss Dweller with Rhino Heart to pump this up to 3/5 because it's a water.
Oh, that's funny.
So this was able to be over things in the mirror. Especially because under Perlerino it's 4K then.
Oh,
which is quite hard to out.
Yeah, that's really big.
Yeah. So this negates an effect that would special summon a monster and then sends a tier from your hand or field to the grave.
Yeah.
And then if it's sent to grave, you can special summon it.
Yeah,
so you just send itself and bring it back.
Just 4K is massive.
Then the one of Kaleido Heart.
Yeah.
Insane removal, insane recursion, keeps your engine going, especially if you get this up with Topologic. It's just really strong. This is also the main reason I played Triple Rhino, is because this specifically lists Rhino.
Yeah, fair.
Then super poly targets that also are relevant in your engine.
Yeah.
Predaplant Dragostapelia.
Great card.
Insane.
Yeah.
This is probably the most quotable card in the extra, but it's also the best super poly
it's
target.
amazing.
Especially in the mirror, which is what you're expecting to see. Garura.
Yeah. So good.
I use this as just a way to make things off tiers that would plus me when I linked it off a lot, which was quite good.
And the draw is insane.
Yeah. And then it was also quite relevant in helping with OTKs because it's 3k damage for an empty board.
Yeah, too.
And then finally, Mud Dragon of the Slump.
Yeah.
Another instant fusion target if you've already used your kit this turn.
Yeah.
A good super poly target, which definitely was relevant.
Yeah.
And the effect isn't bad at all.
For the change its attribute.
Yeah, because it protects the cards of the same attribute with from targeting.
Yeah.
And then also another level 4 war that you can make Dweller with.
And it used to go into Curious, but that's gone.
Yeah, unfortunate. Unfortunate.
Thank God.
So that's the extra. And the side.
As the side.
The side is it's very tournament dependent, but the most important thing to mention about this one is there are cards I would have rather played in certain slots, but again I was constrained by budget and side deck was what felt it the most.
Yeah.
Shoutouts to yourself for lending a lot of this.
Yeah, this it's a team effort.
So I played Double Talents.
Yeah.
Great card. Helps going first or second. MVP of the side deck. Triple evenly. Every single game I went second, I sided this in.
Good.
I saw it so often, no one negated it all day. It just won so many games.
It's in every side deck you see nearly.
2 Cosmic. Extra back row out. Didn't side it in all day, glad I played it.
Yeah.
Then the only real hand trap in here, triple Ghostlet. Ghost Mourner Moonlit Chill.
Yeah.
This is a negate, but more importantly it burns. The reason I played this was because I didn't want to play a card that did nothing except win in time, like Scattershot or Ladybug or Null Nun.
Yeah.
But this did dual purpose.
Yeah.
It burns and it negates, so
That's a win.
came up quite a bit. It was quite nice.
Yeah.
Then Bestials.
Yeah.
Double Druis, 1 mag.
Yeah.
The Druis is the better one. I would have liked to have more mag, just didn't. They came up when they came up. They're all good. You know, everyone knows these cards.
Everyone knows at this stage.
And the last two cards, double Ghost Reaper and Winter Cherries.
Man went with Ghost Reaper.
This was crazy in the mirror.
Was it really? I suppose there's a reason it got an ulti, didn't it?
Yeah. Now, everyone assumes you go for this.
Yeah.
I banished Dweller every single time I played the mirror.
Yeah, that's...
It meant they had nothing to lock me down with.
Yeah, cool. Yeah. That's thinking ahead.
So, yeah, that rounds out everything. I was very happy with the list. Unfortunately, I did not top the event because Dublin Bus did not get me there on time. I lost one match and drew another. Pretty confident that I would have topped had that not happened, but very happy with the day overall. Very happy with the list.
Awesome. So
looking forward to the next event.
Ishizu with some very special cards. Shout out to the Kong's cards. Please check out the links in the description. By the time this video goes up, I'm sure they'll be back open after Christmas, and there will be a new code for Team Chain Block. Shout out to the Underworld, and see you.
Make sure to play Gravekeeper's Trap.
Oh,